The Detroit Tigers lose to the Cincinnati Reds in extra innings on Tuesday night in a very weird, eventful, close. There's a lot of adjectives to describe this one. Let's talk about it all today on Locked On Tigers.
You are Locked On Tigers, your daily Detroit Tigers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Locked On Tigers. I'm, of course, your host, Scott Bentley. Today is Wednesday, September 13th, 2023. Thank you so much for making Locked On Tigers your first listen every single day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts, including YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Be sure to check out the Tigers home radio broadcast on the Sirius XM app. Just search Detroit Tigers. The next thing you know, anytime, anywhere. As long as the Tigers are playing straight from the app, you can be listening to the beautiful and fantastic Tigers home radio broadcast. The Tigers dropped Tuesday night's game by a score of 6-5 in extra innings at the hands of the Cincinnati Reds. Reds obviously playing for a lot. Tigers as a team not playing for a whole lot. Still a lot of individual battles. We've been talking about that a lot over the last few weeks. Certainly not nothing to play for the guys on this roster, but wins and losses don't really matter to the Tigers at this point, and they mean a boatload. So the Cincinnati Reds, who are in the thick of an absolutely electric NL wildcard race with 3 weeks left in the season. So fun to be a little bit of a part of that. Couldn't play spoilers in this one, but you're not set up. And we'll get into, again, like there's a lot to go over in this game. A lot of decisions that were made, a lot of contributions that were made, maybe some lack of contributions made. There's a lot to go over. Okay. Again, decisions on and off the field as well. But, I think, where was my even train of thought going? I had a point with the Reds. Oh, you set yourself up kind of nicely the remainder of this series. You burned through a boatload of pitchers in their bullpen. You knocked their starter out of the game after just 4 innings. They had to use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 relievers because nobody went multi-innings for them. That's not a bad position to be in after game 1. You had a chance to win against a better team. You came up short. It's frustrating. We'll talk about it. But there's still 2 games left in the series, and they've already used 6 relievers. So hopefully Tigers can do some damage here the remainder of this series. Let's just get right into it, though. Let's talk about some of the performances from the Tigers side of things. We'll start with Joey Wentz, and the reason we'll start with Joey Wentz is because I want to just honestly get the conversation over with. After this season ends, okay, what is that, October 1st, I would tell Joey Wentz that he is not allowed to pick up, think about, or even remotely take in the game of baseball for the next, month, maybe 2 months. I would tell him to go on vacation, go home, like to his hometown home, like spend time with his family. If he has a significant other, go take them somewhere. Legitimately, that would be my, if I was in charge, that would be my great baseball advice. It's just like his final line in this one: 2 2/3, 6 hits, 5 runs, only 2 of them earned, 3 walks and 1 strikeout. I can bring up again, the fastball wasn't good. His fastball this season has been dreadful. It has a slug over 600, a batting average over 300. You're talking about every time he throws his 4-seam fastball, the hitter turns into prime Miguel Cabrera. It just hasn't worked. And I didn't think that everything else besides the fastball in this game was excellent. It's not if it just wasn't for the 4-seamer, he would have been great tonight. But it certainly would have helped a lot. And I think that is the root of all of his struggles, genuinely. I think literally last September, for 5 starts in the month, he had a 2 ERA. He even had a sub-2 at one point in the month of September. He was great. And a lot of people, including myself, thought he had a lot of promise, had a lot of expectations for him coming into the season. And just that fastball has killed him. It has been so devastating, and in all the wrong ways. And so my big advice, that would genuinely be what I would do. I'd be like, dude, don't even, if you pick up a baseball, you're cut. Like, I genuinely, like, go. I don't want you to even think about this sport for the next 3 to 5 weeks. Treat it like a hamstring injury. 4 to 6 weeks, you're out of commission, Bucko. For real. Like that. I just it's been a rough year, and clearing his mind will do a lot of good. I think he needs the offseason as much as anybody right now. I still think that there's a profile there. Like, I have not completely written this dude off. I know some people laugh at that and think it's ridiculous. I'm not trying to argue that he's had a good season, but there's still a profile here that intrigues me. It just, the profile doesn't matter if you don't have a four-seam fastball to set up the rest of the pitches that make your profile cool. So that's going to continue to be the biggest area that he needs to improve on the remainder of the season. So we'll get that out of the way. Joey Wentz, not great again. Also worth noting, I mean, the walks, not great, had some command issues, but got no help from his defense. Absolutely none. And pretty much every pitcher that was on the bump tonight didn't really get a ton of help from the defense in this ball game. And it's so weird because the Tigers' positioning is so great. It's one of the unsung, under the radar, nobody either realizes or talks about it on a day-to-day basis. The Tigers' defensive positioning year in and year out in the Hinch era has been one of the best in all of baseball. And this year is no different, even with the shift limitations. The shift isn't gone, it's just limited. So I think that is that is worth noting. But at the end of the day, positioning can only get you so much of an advantage. Can only help you so much. If you don't have people who can play Major League defense, you don't have people who can play Major League defense. And that's not to say that this team is full of just awful defenders. The team defensive stats are actually not terrible on the season. It's just there's a lot of factors that go into rating team defense, and I think that this team still has a long way to go to be a good defensive team in my eyes. That's all. And this game, again, Joey Wentz, not a great outing, but certainly didn't get a lot of help behind him either. Let's talk about the offense. Okay, we got Joey Wentz out of the way. Let's talk about the offense in this game. I mean, this was really, Andy Ibanez was fantastic. Goes 2 for 4 with a walk, which is, I mean, maybe the most impressive thing. He's a walk rate of under 5%. At least he did going into the game. Maybe that walk put him over 5%. But this is a guy that's going to go up there and hack. And for him to go up there and record a walk, that might be the most surprising thing of all. But yeah, 728 OPS on the season now certainly has been worth the waiver claim, and had a solid game. You saw kind of the giveth and the taketh away. He had the error, one of the errors. I hope they ruled it an error. Okay, they did. 2 errors for the Tigers on the evening. I'm assuming one of those is the Ibanez play, and that, yeah, deserved. So saw a little bit of the peaks and valleys, and then the extra inning. Was it extras? No, he came up in the 9th, didn't he? Was it extras? Regardless, he came up with 2 outs and a runner in scoring position. It was definitely the 9th inning, and did not come up and swung at a ball that, if Javi Baez did it, it would be viral right now and everyone would be complaining about it. But Andy Ibanez did it, so nobody cares. It was a slider that was 16 feet out of the strike zone. And yeah, Ibanez homered. Baez doesn't hit homers anymore. I'm not trying to compare the two. Ibanez has been a significantly better hitter than Baez this season, but he's going to go up there and hack. And I still think that puts kind of a limitation on the peaks that he can reach. But great game for Andy, and was one of the sole reasons that we were in this ball game period. We'll talk about the Andy Ibanez getting thrown out at home later in the episode. Let's keep the ball rolling, though. We got some more offensive performances to talk about. Got some stuff within the lineup to talk about. Got Parker Meadows to talk about as well. We'll do that right after I tell y'all about our friends over at FanDuel. FanDuel is the best, and it is NFL season, baby. How about them Lions? So get ready for the NFL season with an incredible offer from FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Plus, all customers who bet $5 will get $100 off of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Now is the best time to join FanDuel. The app is easy to use, and you can bet on everything from spreads, player props, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to kick off the NFL season with an offer you won't want to miss. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. All right, everybody, welcome back here. Segment 2 of Locked On Tigers. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, making us your first listen every single day. Shout out to the everydayers that do tune in every day. We'll be back tomorrow recapping Game 2 of this series against the Cincinnati Reds. So let's keep the ball rolling with the offense here. Andy Ibanez, obviously great game, solid all around except for the error. Matt Vierling, nice hit and a walk. Again, solid. Came up in crunch time, didn't come through. It's really, we've talked about it before, but Matt Vierling with nobody on base and with a runner in scoring position is like completely different, like hitter and human being. I'm convinced. It's remarkable how different the stats are. What else in this game? Miggy played. Good to see. Want to see him just play as many games as he possibly can the last 3 weeks of his Major League Baseball career. So good to see there. 1 for 4 with an RBI and then 3 strikeouts, unfortunately. Kerry Carpenter with 2 hits and a strikeout to end the game. Who else? Javi 0 for 4. He swung. Ball almost hit him, and he tried to move out of the way and swung and missed and clearly was upset. Just the kind of year that he's had, unfortunately. 576 OPS, man. Goodness. I think that there's not a ton of like big standouts. It was just kind of a team approach. They got and attacked early, and that was the biggest thing, man. Like they didn't do a ton of damage late in the game. But I mean, in the first inning, they had 4 runs, and in the 5th inning, tagged on or 3 runs in the first inning, and then tagged on a couple of more in the 5th. So, just got off to a hot start, kind of cooled off as the game, didn't score from the 6th through the 10th. That's something they got to work on. Again, 3 for 14 with RISP. It's about a 214 batting average. That is about what the Tigers have done this season in RISP. That's very close to their season numbers. So, on brand, and certainly did not do well with RISP in the entire second half of the baseball game, extra innings included. Let's talk about Parker Meadows for a little bit here. He has gone on a huge offensive skid. We kind of talked about it a little bit in earlier this week, and I had said something on the lines of, and until he's striking out a boatload, I'm not going to freak out too terribly much. I still maintain that. Like, he even had in the last couple of days, man, he's had a couple of hard hit balls that have just gone right at people. I think a little bit is just being snake bitten, but it's certainly worth noting. And I don't ever expect, I said this when he got called up, I don't ever expect Parker Meadows to be some like elite 900 plus OPS hitter. And I don't think he needs to be incredibly valuable to this team. He's going to be a big time plus defender. We'll talk about that a little bit later. We've been talking about a lot already in his Major League career. Made a great play in this ballgame, 2 great plays in this ballgame. But if he can be around a league average hitter, like genuinely, like if he can even have like a mid 700s, a 740, 750 OPS, this dude can bat 8th or 9th for a good team and be unbelievably valuable. Like, so I don't think there's a ton of pressure on him to like come up here and be fantastic. This is also what September is for. Like, how many players make adjustments in the first couple of months of their careers? Like that, the jump from AAA to the majors is massive. It's all about making adjustments. That's why I'm going to reiterate it again. If Colt Keith is your third baseman next year, why is he not here making those adjustments to the majors now and not next year in April and May? That doesn't make any sense to me, but we'll stay on topic here and talk about Parker. So yeah, like if he was, I mean, like in this game, he went 0 for 3 with 1 strikeout, and his strikeout rate isn't low, but it's not like astronomically concerningly high right now. And his chase rate is low. Like he's actually been really, really solid as far as not expanding the strike zone too terribly much. His walk rate is really solid at the present moment. Like there's a lot of underlying numbers that don't worry me about the skid, but it's certainly something that I have to bring up, and something that I think to some extent water will find its level a little bit. And I'm sure he's making a ton of adjustments every single game, first stint in the majors. And it's not like he's not providing you anything. He like the Parker Meadows effect was in full effect in this game, despite the fact that he went over. He stole a base, got in scoring position in a tie game in the 9th inning. There wasn't even a throw. It was such an easy stolen base for him, and made 2 amazing plays in center field. So like I appreciate how valuable he is in all these other areas, to where like you don't even need to put a ton of pressure on him to be some great hitter, you know. So that's kind of where I stand. We'll keep an eye on it. We'll see how he's doing, but I'm not too terribly worried about it yet. But we'll see how the rest of the series and the week plays out for him. All right, extra innings. I want to actually start with the 9th inning. You know how pathetic it is that we had the fastest dude on our team on second base with 1 out in the bottom of the 9th in a tie baseball game, and the top of the lineup due up, and we did not even come close to winning the baseball game. Matt Vierling popped out to second base. Andy Ibanez grounded out to third. In 2, like, relatively speaking, uncompetitive ABs. Like, Andy Ibanez took a couple of pitches. He took a couple of strikes. It's wild to me that, like, he was taking strikes, because he swings at everything. And then he followed up by swinging again at a ball in the other batter's box. And, like, Matt Vierling is just, like, is he the worst hitter on the team with wrist? We looked it up like a week and a half ago. It's him and Jake Rogers are just, like, absolutely dreadful with wrist this season. And so, like, that's so, like, pathetic is the word to me. Like, you have the top of your lineup due up with one of the fastest players in the sport on second base and only 1 out. And he wasn't even close to scoring. So, like, I know I'm barking up a tree here in mid-September for a team that's 12 games under 500. I understand, but it's just that's so embarrassing. That's so embarrassing. So that already frustrated me. And then we have extra innings. Now, I want to make let's just talk about it. Let's talk about the send here. The Andy Ibanez on contact, clearly, is sent home. He's thrown out by 75 feet. AJ Hinch in the postgame presser says that they were going on contact if the ball wasn't hit right to India. I think it was India at second base. That it would have been a much closer player. He might have even been a safe. They just got bad luck that it got hit right at somebody. That is all objectively true. But we've seen a lot lately, that the Tigers have been running on contact on third base and been getting thrown out. It's tough. It's really tough to break down, because you're really caught between a rock and a hard place. The Tigers are 9-8, I want to say 9-7 going into this game. They're over 500 in extra innings this season. So it's not like they just keep getting thrown out at home in extra innings every single time. And they're, the Padres are like 0 for 11 or something crazy in extra innings this season. Like they've won more extra inning games than they've lost. And the thing that makes me not as upset at other people about it is that this offense still stinks, dog. Like that's really the underlying, like, if we had the Braves offense and people are getting thrown out at home in close, meaningful games in September, I'd be furious. I'd come on here and I'd be scorching the earth, right? But, like, this offense is still so bad that, like, your default probably, I don't know, dare I say, should be run on contact and hope that it's not hit right at somebody so that you can score a run. Like, that kind of philosophy, it giveth and taketh away. Like, acting like we just get thrown out every time and it never benefits us is ridiculous. Like, there have been a lot of plays that if we're not running on contact at third, we don't score on. And this team needs all the runs they can get. So, like, it's tough. Like, it frustrates me to no end. I don't want to make this sound like I'm just like, oh, you have to do it, and it's just like the easy choice, and like everybody who's mad is stupid. Like, that's not what I'm trying to say. It pisses me off to no end too. But the mental gymnastics going on in my head around, like, is it the right move? Is it not? I go back and forth a lot. Like, bad offenses should be aggressive base runners because you don't know when the next opportunity you're going to get a man on third is going to be. Right? You don't know how many scoring opportunities you have in a game. So you kind of have to put the pressure on the defense when you don't score any runs. And I genuinely believe that if the Tigers offense was better and was like a good offense, that we wouldn't be the most aggressive base running team you've ever seen. I don't know. I go back and forth a lot, and I default back to just blaming the fact that this offense is bad, and that's kind of like the root of all evils here. I think if you have a good offense, that problem kind of fixes itself, and you don't need to be that aggressive. But I don't know. Everybody's gonna have a different opinion on that one, and I hear out everybody. It pisses me off to no end as well, seeing us get thrown at the plate so often. But okay, I'm just talking in circles at this point. I think I've said my piece. Let's talk about the bullpen, which was fantastic in this baseball game. Then a little bit of defense. Then we'll preview game 2. All right, we'll do that right after I tell y'all about Jace Medical. Everyone should be empowered to take care of themselves and their loved ones during the unexpected. That's why Jace Medical offers the Jace case. The Jace case is providing 5 life-saving antibiotics for emergency use and gives you a peace of mind so that you are not just hoping that you have access to medication in an emergency. Jace Medical makes sure you have the medication in hand. Jace Medical is simple. They handle everything from the online evaluations to licensed pharmacy medication delivery and ongoing consultation and care. Don't get caught unprepared. Save more than $360 by getting these life-saving antibiotics with Jace Medical, plus an additional $20 off by using code LOCKEDON at checkout on jacemedical.com. That's JASE medical.com, promo code LOCKEDON. All right, everybody, welcome back here. Third and final segment of Locked On Tigers. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Let's wrap this up here. Let's talk about the bullpen. Bullpen was fantastic in this baseball game. Did not allow a single run. Bo Brisky, 2 innings, no earned runs. Will Vest, 1 1/3, no runs. Tyler Holton, 1 2/3 of perfect baseball. Jason Foley, 1 1/3, no runs. Perfect baseball for him as well. And then Alex Lang does give up the Manfred runner, but does not have any earned runs to his name. We'll talk about Lang at the end. Everyone else I thought was great. Brisky pissed me off the first batter he faced, and then from then on out was kind of smooth sailing. Again, 2 innings. Like that's the thing about Brisky, man. Like if he can find it, if he can get that horizontal pitch that I've said a billion times this season, and I apologize for the broken recordness of that, but it's just I'm so passionate that that's like the one thing that would make him so good. If he can find that, this is a dude that can pump 96, 97 out of your bullpen and give you 2 or 3 innings. And like having him and Alex Faedo and Tyler Alexander, who's a lefty, that can all give you multiple innings. Like, you know how effective and versatile of a bullpen the Tigers could have next year if all those guys figure it out? Like, that would be so fun and so valuable. Oh my goodness, from the amount of times that like a lot of y'all have gotten mad at me for like defending the bullpen management because of just innings. And that's just been my default answer. It's just been, well, you need innings, and we don't have innings because we don't have any starters that go deep into games consistently. Like that would fix so many of those issues. I really am cautiously optimistic about how this bullpen could look next year. You could have 3 or 4 multi-inning relievers. You could have Foley and Lang back. And you could go out and get some high leverage 1-inning relievers in free agency. You could be looking at a very, again, like versatile and legitimate bullpen next year. And that really excites me. So I liked what I saw from Brisky in this one, besides the walk. 4 Ks in 2 innings, always good. Will Vest, 1 1/3, perfect baseball, all 4 outs, strikeouts. I tweeted this out or posted it, whatever. Will Vest in the last 2 weeks I said he's been better than prime Mariano Rivera. He hasn't given up a run since August 22nd. That's over 2 weeks ago. He's been striking out nearly everybody. He hasn't been walking anybody either. No base runners, really. He's been an absolute monster. And for as much as I was worried about him coming back from the injury, he's been unreal. And he has been, one of the guys we talk about, players who have the most to gain and lose in September. If Will Vest continues this and just ends the season lights out and then goes into spring next year and looks even remotely close to how he did in September, we're talking about a guy who's going to play himself into being in this bullpen and be a middle reliever for this team next year. So good on him. Tyler Holton, the sky is blue. Tyler Holton's a dog, just another day, a day that ends in Y. So Tyler Holton is an absolute effing dog. Good for him. Jason Foley, good. Gave up the one hard hit ball, and Parker Meadows is Parker Meadows. So thankfully, he didn't come back to bite him. Thought that he looked pretty solid in this one, though, all things considered. Then Alex Lang, the hit he gave up, it was a soft contact blooper. It was a curveball that did get left up a little bit more than I'd like, for sure. I think it's a little bit higher in the zone than he wanted it as well. I think ideally he wants that closer to the kneecaps, and it was more at the thighs. But some people disagree with this, and you're the closer, you shouldn't give up any runs ever. But I don't get mad at people that give up the Manfred runner, man. That's not a long history of baseball. It's a new thing. It's an unearned run. The guy's starting halfway around the base. Alex Lang could have a 1-2-3 inning. You could literally have a 1-2-3 inning and give up the run. Ground ball to second, fly out. There you go. You just gave up a run. So, I don't get too mad at the Manfred runner, giving up there. This offense, inexcusable to not score the Manfred runner. Right? I'm giving our pitchers a pass for giving it up because it's such a guarantee that you should just score it. I don't know why I'm getting so fired up over a mid-September game, but it's just I can't have it both ways. The offense is not off the hook for just refusing to score the Manfred runner ever. But yeah, so the bullpen was great, though. It was great. And again, I'm cautiously optimistic about how this bullpen could look next season. The defense in this game, only two things I want to point up. One, Parker Meadows is unbelievable. That ball in the gap is more impressive than the diving catch. The diving catch was great, and it was more of a falling catch, right? He caught it, and then his momentum made him dive. That was awesome, and was a really big moment. The ball in the gap, that's miraculous. That ball was a double. That was literally a double. That ball was smoked. It was in the gap, and he just. He's a gazelle. He's magnificent. He's beautiful. He's elegant, right? He's so fun to watch out there in center field, and that's where you see a lot of his value come through. So I just wanted to point that out. Defensively, no one could throw the ball to Torkelson at first base, and it's really annoying that that's just a consistent norm that he has to deal with. He's a great scooper, thankfully, an elite level scooper, and so that's great. But if we could just hit him in the chest, that'd be awesome. And then on the flip side, Torkelson made a horrible decision on a cutoff play that cost the team an out. How many times? How many times? I want somebody to count. I want to know how many times I have complained this calendar year about the Tigers and their just obsession with letting the trail runner get an extra base. It's like they want it to happen. It's mind-boggling to me. It's like they're trying. It's like they're oh yeah, it's a part of baseball. You always let the trail runner just advance an extra 90 feet. It's like they think it's a competition, and they think that they get runs if for some reason they let it. Oh my goodness, I've said it a million times, but golly. It's frustrating. And he made a boneheaded play, objectively. He was the cutoff man, and he threw the ball to third on a ball that, it was not even really a close play to get the runner out at third. And my goodness, I don't even remember who the runner was. I don't think it was Ellie, but it might have been Ellie. Was right in front of him. Literally. Not exaggerating, right in front of him. About 10 feet off of first base. Just a dead duck right in front of him. And he just turns and throws it to third for some reason. Cost yourself an out. Joey Wentz needs all the outs he can get. Just a very, very frustrating and bad play. that ended up costing, again, the Tigers base runners and runs. So just wanted to point that out. Still, can anyone? I want to spend all offseason just studying tape of trail runners. You know how many outs? Like, you're not a good enough team to be giving away that many outs and extra 90 feet. I've been complaining about this since April. It's September, and it's still happening just as often. Okay, we spent enough time on it. That's it. That's it for the ball game. Frustrating one for sure, but at the end of the day, we got to have perspective here. This is a better team. And again, they've set themselves up to, like, you should be able to make these last two games competitive. You should. They used their A-team bullpen, including their really good closer. You should be able to. You got good pitchers going, right? Like, you had Joey Wentz in this game. Obviously, he struggled all year. You have Erod and Reese Olson the next two games. There you go. That will lead that into our preview. Game 2, Eduardo Rodriguez going for the Detroit Tigers. Connor Phillips going for the Cincinnati Reds. Only has 4.2 innings pitched in his major league career, and they did not go well. 22-year-old rookie. Look, man, if this is a get-right game for this kid, I swear. I swear. I'm not actually going to be mad about it. I'm just being dramatic. But, like, the writing's on the wall. Please don't make it. Don't prove me right. I want to be proven wrong more than anything. All right? Don't prove me right. And then the finale will be at a day game on Thursday, and Reese Olson will go against a TBD. So we'll preview that one a little bit more tomorrow as well. But yeah, Erod versus Phillips, you have the advantage there. They've burned through a lot of their bullpen. Let's have a game. All right, you're at home. That's supposed to be an advantage. All right, I don't know why I'm so upset. Thanks for making Locked On Tigers your first listen every single day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts, including YouTube. Shout out to the everydayers that do tune in every day. I appreciate you all greatly for continuing to support the show, watch, listen, etc., even when the Tigers are in, for some people, they would consider it meaningless September baseball, but not here. All right. Peace and love. Going to therapy's dope. I'll catch y'all tomorrow, baby. Go Tigers. Okay, I just played the wrong video for 2 seconds. Go Tigers.